power for you to get your children back. There'd be no power for you to redeem your captivity. Go over to verse 37.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment.
You're going to become an astonishment as a people. So when the other nations come and they look at the Israelites in the last days, they be like, oh my God, look how they're acting. I cannot believe that the most beautiful Israelites are shaking their buns in music videos.
Bring it out, T.
They are disrespecting their bodies. Guess what? The strongest, smartest, diligent people on the planet, they're shooting each other for Nikes.
Come on, bring it out.
You get what I'm saying? They're fighting over blocks that they don't own. They can't change the stop sign. Right. But they're fighting over blocks that they don't own. Right. Oh my God, look how they act. Every time they get together, more than 15 of them, there's a fight that breaks out. Oh my God. That's called an astonishment. That would happen to the Israelites in the last days. Read.
A proverb.
A proverb. That's something outside of your God-given name. They wouldn't call you Judah anymore. They wouldn't call you Benjamin anymore. They would call you black, African American, Hispanic, Native. They wouldn't call you God's given name. They wouldn't call you Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim. You get what I'm saying? You would become a proverb. Read.
And a byword.
Something outside of your God-given name. Read.
Among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Right? Give me verse 64. How did we get among all nations? How did we get among all nations? God said first and foremost, the Israelites was going into slavery. Okay, they was going to be given to another race of people. Right? And they would become an astonishment when they got to those lands. Look how they're acting. They're drinking 40 ounces early in the morning. You get what I'm saying? We ain't running our businesses right. We just out here living, getting it how we live. That's how the Israelites would live in the last days. But how do we get among everybody? Read what you got.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
The Lord shall scatter you among all people, right? This is the, what you call the African diaspora, right? Everywhere these green arrows pointed, that's where they took slaves. So God said, you're going into captivity first and foremost. You're going to be given to another race of people. And they're going to scatter you among all people. This is a history book picture. This actually happened to us. And God said this was going to happen to the Israelites in the last days. So guess what? I'm going to scatter you among all people. You're going to be in Brazil. You're going to be in Haiti. You're going to be in Cuba. You're going to be Dominican. You're going to be in Russia. You're going to be in Ghana. You're going to be everywhere scattered via that slavery. Read.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
The Lord going to scatter the Israelites among all people. And I'll wait. I'll give you $100. What other nation on the planet was taken into slavery and scattered among all other people?
Bring it out. Come on.
Other than us. I'll wait. Don't nobody want $100? What other race and nationality was scattered among all people via slavery? And I want a continent that it happened on, and I want an approximate date. I'll wait. That didn't happen to nobody but the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, making us the Israelites hands down. Read what you got.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. From the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
From one end of the earth, you might be in China, or you might be in Russia. You might be in America, or you might be in Jamaica. Read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
You're going to serve other gods. What's the two main religions we serve out here? In every continent. Every continent where you have blacks and Hispanics, what's the main religion in Africa? Islam, Christianity. What's the main religion in North America? Islam, Christianity. You're going to serve other gods when you get to those captivities. Read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Wood god, stone god. Kaaba stone, Islam, wood cross, Christianity. God said you're going to go into captivity. You're going to be scattered among all people. You're going to become a proverb and a byword when you scattered among the people. They're going to be like, look how they're acting. And they're going to be serving Allah and white Jesus. That's what the Bible said was going to happen to the Israelites in the last days. Read.
Verse 65. And among these nations.
Among these nations where you land, read.
shalt thou find no ease.
You ain't never gonna have no ease. You always gonna have to work. You're not gonna retire good. You always gonna have to get it. You always gonna have to go. And guess what? If you want to be good in your company, you gotta be 10 times better than the white man that you're competing against. Just to be equal, you gotta be 10 times better. You're never gonna have no ease in this captivity. Read.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
You always gonna have to work, always have to hustle, always have to get it, always bills to bills, always check to check, never can prosper, always got another man's foot on your neck, always paying another taxes to another race of people. Don't nobody pay you taxes for nothing. Could you imagine getting $1 from everybody on the planet?
Bring it out.
You have billions and trillions of dollars. They get how many of my dollars every week? Every week. They get hundreds of my dollars every week. We are truly in captivity. Read what you got.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart.
In that land of your captivity, God gonna give you a fearful heart. So fearful that when you come outside, you don't know if the brothers around the corner gonna shoot you dead. You don't know if your sister gonna jump you and beat you up. You don't know if you're gonna get pulled over by the police and he shoot you dead. You don't know if you're gonna get fired today. You don't know what's going on. You're going to have a fearful heart in your captivity. Read.
And failing of eye.
Failing of understanding. You can't understand why are we on the bottom like this. This is talking about the Israelites. And for some reason, we live in everything God said what happened to the Israelites. Read what you got.
And sorrow of mind.
Sorrow of mind. Always sad. That's why we got a genre of music called the blues.
Bring it out.
Now we got a genre of music called the blues. Because we always going through it. Read.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
Your life gonna hang in doubt before thee. Read.
And thou shalt fear day and night.
You're gonna fear day and night. Go to verse 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Now he said, I'm gonna bring. To that captivity again. Read.
With ships.
How are we going into slavery?
With ships.
How are we going into slavery?
With ships.
The Bible said in Deuteronomy 28:68, the Israelites is going into slavery with slave ships. And these will be a sign to know what the Israelites does in the last days. So if any other race of people can read that and say that it happened to my people, I'll consider. But you also have to have your nationality taken. Children given to another race of people.
Bring it
You
out.
get what I'm saying? Scattered amongst every other nation. A proverb and a byword called outside of your God-given name. History taken from you. You would have to fulfill all of those things. And we happen to fulfill all those things. Read what you got.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
God gonna bring you into slavery, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, for a second time. Read.
With ships.
We're going into slavery with cargo slave ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
The same way Moses said it, it's going to happen. Not even a little bit of change is going to happen. He said, guess what? You're going to lose your language. You're going to lose your children. You're going to be scattered among all people. You're going to serve other gods. And you're getting there with slave ships.
That's right.
We went through all of that. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You ain't never going to see your homeland again. How many black people out here been to Jerusalem? How many Hispanics been out here, been to Jerusalem, to your homeland? We ain't gonna see our homeland again. We're gonna be right here in Sacramento, California. We're gonna be right here in America. Read.
And there,
And once those slave ships stop,
ye shall be sold.
what the Israelites gonna be?
Ye shall be sold.
Once those cargo slave ships stop, the Israelites was gonna be sold
unto your enemies.
Uh-oh. So subconsciously, minds is ringing already. People that don't line up with this, they're like, oh my God, we took God's chosen people into slavery. We're going to pay for that. Subconsciously, they know that.
That's right.
You took God's chosen people and you hung them on trees. You cut their rods off. You burned them and tarred them and feathered them. Them was God's chosen people. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your
You're going to
enemy
be sold unto your enemy, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. Read.
for bondmen
For slave men,
and
for
bondwomen,
slave women.
and no man shall buy you.
Nobody going to be able to redeem you from that captivity. Now, how do we get out of those curses? Because God didn't just prophesy the curses and stop. He told you everything you was going to go through. He gave you the curses, and then he gave you the end game. Give me Deuteronomy 30 and 2. This is how we get out of it.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 2. And shall return unto the Lord thy God.
We got to return to God, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I'm talking about the people that got off those slave ships and was sold to Mr. Johnson, sold to Mr. Williams, never seen their homeland again, rode on those slave ships, become a proverb and a byword amongst the other nations. Sold to Mr. Ortiz, sold to Mr. Gutierrez, sold to Mr. Santiago, sold to Mr. Gonzalez. Those are conquistador names. Read what you got.
And shall return unto the Lord thy God.
Now you got to return to God. We got in those situations because we disobeyed God. Now in our returning, we got to follow what God said wholeheartedly. Read.
And shall obey his voice.
You got to obey his voice. Where do we find God's voice? We read it. Because God ain't talking to sinners. He don't hear sinners. The only way you're going to hear God's voice is right here. He left you everything you need. Read.
And shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day.
According to all that I command thee. So he said, you got to return to me according to all I command thee. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. The woman shall not wear what pertaineth unto a man. All that do so are abomination. The swine is unclean to you. The pork is unclean to you. Wear your fringes. Keep the Sabbath day holy. So on and so forth. Love your neighbor as yourself. Can't bear grudge. No covet. We got to return to God in all of that. Wholeheartedly. Read.
I command thee this day, thou and thy children.
You got to learn the commandments. Do it, and then you got to teach it to your kids. He's not going to just save the first generation. No. You got to get right, and then you got to teach your kids these commandments. Read. That's right.
With all thine heart.
With all your mind. No. But I heard this, but my pastor told me that. No. God said, return to me with all your heart, doubting nothing. Doubting nothing. Read.
And with all thy soul. That
then once you do that,
the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
Now God gonna turn your captivity. Take you from the bottom and put you on the top. Take you from Oak Park and put you in El Dorado Hills. Take you from Sacramento and put you in the Buckingham Palace, where all that stuff belonged to you anyways. This whole world belonged to the Israelites.
That's right.
Read.
And have compassion upon thee. And will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee.
He's going to return you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans everywhere we've been scattered with those slave ships, if we return to him. Read.
If any of not,
Jump over to verse 7.
Verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemy.
The enemy that bought you and sold you. Put the yokes of iron on your neck. Everything that you went through, he said, I'm going to put those curses on your enemy. That's called justice.
Right.
That's called justice. How would you feel? How would you feel if the white man tied you down on your hands and knees, took your child and killed him in front of your face, and never got judged for it? He got away with it. He got old and he died, right? But when you get to kingdom of heaven, you think he's going to be sitting there? No way. He gonna get the same judgment that he should have got here on earth. Matter of fact, he gonna be back, but that's a whole nother topic. He gonna get his judgment, and he gonna put all those curses on your enemy. Go ahead.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee.
Give me Luke 14 and give me the gospel. I want the gospel and then the alabaster box.
Yes, sir.
right? Because I want to show everybody say, I listen to God according to the gospel. Let's find out what the gospel is, because that's what we out here preaching. We're preaching the gospel.
That's right.
We're preaching the gospel to the people. Is the gospel a song? Is it a dance? Do it come with a tambourine and a drummer boy? No, the gospel is exactly what we're about to read. It's Luke 14 and 4 and 13.
Oh, 4 and 18.
Yeah.
4 and 18. Yeah, I'm thinking of something else.
My fault.
No, that's what I mean.
Let's see what the gospel is that we're supposed to be preaching, and then give me the alabaster box.
The book of Luke, chapter 4, verse 18. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor.
He anointed Christ to preach the gospel to the poor. Read.
He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted.
The brokenhearted. The brokenhearted is your mind. We broken-minded. Our mind is so broken that we smoke drugs to cope day by day. We need a cigarette to get through the day. We need a bump to get through the day. The best feeling I can have throughout the day is some sex and some weed. That's the best day I can have out here. But guess what? God came to heal the brokenhearted. Read.
To preach deliverance to the captives.
Deliverance to the captives. That's what the gospel is. You're not always going to be a slave. You're not always going to pay taxes to another nation. You will have deliverance, and you are the captives. Freedom to the captives is what the gospel is. Give me Matthew 26. Matthew 26 and 6. The gospel is freedom to the captives. Heal the brokenhearted. Feed the poor. We the poor. We so poor we don't have a land. We don't have a language. We don't have an army. We depend on our nations to we depend on every other nation to take care of us. That's how poor we are.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.